morning we talked about deception in the church. And there's a lot of deception. We didn't have time to go into all of it. We may talk about a little bit more this evening. But I thought this evening we should consider where is this taking us? What is going on? Sometimes I puzzle about it. On the other hand, the Scripture tells us. In fact, the Scripture says, when you see these things come to pass, rejoice. Your redemption draweth nigh. And we noted that Jesus foretold these days. Paul tells us in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, he uses the same terminology. Remember, Jesus said, the very first thing he said when they asked him, when will these things be? What will be the sign of your coming? And so forth. He said, beware that no man deceive you. And many will come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, and so forth. And Paul uses the same language in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. He says, don't let anyone deceive you. That day, the day of the Lord, which the Scripture tells us, I wish we could go in and discuss the day of the Lord, but again, we don't have time for that. But the day of the Lord comes as a thief in the night. Remember? Paul talks about it in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. He said, you yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them. I believe that the rapture marks the beginning of the day of the Lord, and perhaps we can talk about how close do we think that might be. We should be expecting the rapture at any moment. But he says, don't let anyone deceive you. That day will not come except the falling away comes first. The apostasy comes first. So this is obviously where we're heading. And in fact, it's where we have to go. Isn't that right? You can't come to the day of the Lord except the apostasy comes. So we shouldn't be, on one hand, we mourn, and Paul wept, as we noted this morning. On the other hand, this is what we are to expect from Scripture. Now, I believe in imminency. I believe the rapture could occur at any moment. I believe it always could have occurred at any moment after the death of the apostles. So you say, well then, we've done away with imminency if the apostasy has to come first. No, the apostasy has been here from the beginning. Paul said, all they in Asia have forsaken me. Most of the scriptures, the New Testament scriptures, were written to correct error that was already in the church. Were they not? And Paul, as we quoted this morning, he said, after my departing, grievous woes will enter in. Of your own selves shall men arise, speaking perverse things to draw away disciples after them. So I guess the question is, how bad does it have to get? I don't find any scripture that says it has to get so bad. I've been talking about this, writing about it for 25 years, and I can only say it has gotten worse than I thought. I could not have imagined how bad it is now.